All right, today it's still winter time. It's about 2 weeks before Christmas here in North Carolina. This is my very back field. I'm still working on. I got about 80 bales out of it last year. I got to put some fertilizer on it and stuff, but the roadway coming up to this field is a little bit overgrown. So I got the old pole in here, which is what I use for trimming. I got a Husqvarna I use for more serious wood cutting. But there's no deer stand. But I'm gonna do some trimming up here. I'm gonna trim some of these edges, getting just too overgrown. And along that back fence line, this is the back edge of the property. So this is the very back. That's somebody else's property past that tree line. But we're gonna do some trimming all the way along the edge of this field. This is one thing I really wanted to get done this winter, is trim a lot of these limbs. They're just encroaching where you can't get, every year they get longer and longer, of course, and then it pushes you further and further away and from where you can make hay on the edges. And so I got to trim some overgrown limbs down this roadway, and then we'll make a lap around this field and do some trimming of some overhanging limbs. All right, we worked our way back down the roadway, and we're back down to the creek crossing. When my grandfather was here, that backfield we were just in had cows in it. All this was cattle. All this bottom back 40, if you want to call it, was fenced in. And he didn't make hay in that backfield. And this creek crossing was adequate for his Super A and wagon. But now, me trying to make hay, it's very tight. So I've contemplated building a bridge right here, cutting these trees down and building a bridge, and I may still do that one day, but right now, to build a bridge wide enough and heavy enough for my 4,000 Ford and the baler, and then back across with a truck and a trailer and full of bales is not in my budget right now. I've got some stuff to build a bridge with, but it's not gonna happen this season, that's for sure. So I'm probably gonna have to bring the chainsaw down here and cut a lot of these trees back. I'm hoping to use the drum mower next year that my neighbor bought, but you just never know what you're gonna do. So you can see this tree is pretty scarred up, and that's because when I come across here with the sickle mower and it's up in its vertical position, well, it's a 7-foot sickle, and then it's raised up on the 3-point hitch, so it's 8, 9, 10 feet off the ground, and so it catches on these and catches on these. And so for now, we're going to trim these back. I may move this. These are rocks we got from the mountains, and we brought down here to keep this creek crossing from erosion right here, from washing away. I may end up moving that down 5 or 6 feet and widening out, taking a little bit of this bank off, making it a little bit wider on that side. I got this enormous tree right here. It's not enormous, but beech tree, but I ain't wanting to take it down. And then, so I may be able to trim these off, move these rocks down. That's more of a warm springtime day kind of thing, because that water is cold. And maybe make it where I can swing here and then knock this bank down and come up and then swing wide and go up the trail. But anyway, so I had to bring a chainsaw down here to do that. So we'll walk back up to the backfield and we'll carry on up there. So we're back up at the top of the hill in the backfield, and we're gonna start trimming some of these bushes. And what I like to do is I like to find me a kind of clear spot in the woods, and I'll take out that little cedar and a couple of these little saplings, and I'll make me a spot. And that way, as I trim these limbs, I can just pick them up and throw them here in this spot. I'm not trying to haul them anywhere to the gully, and I don't want to leave them laying in the field. They get cut up, caught up in the baler and whatnot. So my goal is to get this trimmed back far enough to where I can bring a bush hog and get this stuff pushed get this field pushed back to where it was, because it's about 6, some spots 10 feet overgrown. So I'm losing that much field. And you say, well, that might not make a difference, but if you don't nip this problem in the bud every so often, I don't do this every year. Come out here every couple 3 years. But if you don't do it, it becomes so overgrown, then it's like a monumental task to come down here and try to trim these back. So we'll get started. I'm gonna clear out this spot and we'll trim this section here from the cart over here, and then the back I've trimmed recently, so it's not that overgrown, and it won't take as much work. But this side, which is the west side of this field, this north, south, east, and west. This west side hasn't been done in a while, so we'll work on it some today. All right, we got a pretty good pile of stuff here. So one of the reasons I don't use a chainsaw for this part is there's so many vines, mostly honeysuckle, but other vines too, that you can come through here and cut with a chainsaw till you're blue in the face. But then when you go to pull this stuff out, there's going to be dozens of vines that are keeping you from pulling it out. And you'd be surprised how tough a vine is. The size smaller than a shoelace will just ruin your day. It's ruined my day many, many times. So I got a pretty good pile here, and what I'll do is sometime I'll bring the tractor here, either the front end loader or the scrape blade on it, and I'll just push this pile back into the woods a little bit. But I am gonna get the chainsaw out and trim some of this stuff back after I've cut it with the loppers. And I'm not trying to expand the field, I'm just trying to where I can get back up and bush hog along this edge. And it keeps pushing out and out and out, Some of these old roadways here are 10 foot from where they used to be, because in between the time my grandfather died and the time I got out here, nobody was really managing the roadways and stuff. It's like my dad was here, still here, but he didn't have no problem, he wasn't farming, so he didn't have no problem just moving the road, just keep moving the road out and out and out further it got away. So one thing to keep in mind is, for me, I don't come out here and try to kill myself. I schedule the day. I'm like a guy who's got to have something to do, so I'm not interested in coming out here and just trying to get all this done in an hour. I take my time. I like to do it in the wintertime, because in the summertime it gets hot and you'll get real aggravated and real pissed off at it. And so I pick a day, I say, hey, I'll come out here this day, set aside 2-4 hours, and we'll do a section of this field. I'm not going to try to get the whole field done. Now I might do some scouting, but this time I'm trying to work all the way down to the end of the field. And so I'll finish with the loppers all the way to the end as much as I can. Then I'll come back with the chainsaw and cut these small ones off at the root, right above the dirt line, and then just toss that stuff away. And I'll I'll come back here with probably the front end loader, push the brush in. You may say, well, why don't you just use the front end loader to push this stuff? Because it won't push it. The front end loader on a tractor is not a bulldozer, and if you try to use it like a bulldozer, you will tear a lot of stuff up. So my advice is, if you want to, you can rent a excavator, like a mini excavator with a blade on it, and it'll do some pushing, something with tracks. But my advice is not to try to push over stumps and stuff with a front end loader. I learned from experience. So we're going to work our way down this line here and try to get this knocked out today, and then see where we're at. So I worked my way all the way down. I'm at the very southern end of the field, and we're going to wrap this video up. I'll take a look at this tree line right here. That tree that it's hard to see that's growing in the field, there used to be a blind. We used to have a hunting blind there for hunting deer. And this stand here is the back brake stand. My dad fell out of this stand. I don't know if he missed a step or whatever, but you see it's about 20 foot. I don't know how far he fell, but he fell straight down, broke his back, broke 2 vertebrae in his back, and broke his neck. And he had to have surgery, he had to have screws and braces put in his neck. And so that was in 2003. And I had to come all the way back here with a tractor and a trailer with the paramedics, and we hauled him out down that roadway I was just on a tractor and a trailer. They're contemplating landing a helicopter in this field at that time, and it was in November 2003. They talked about briefly trying to land a medevac helicopter in this field right here, but we ultimately decided that we would just take him out on the tractor and trailer. So I drove the tractor, went and got the tractor. The paramedic came back here. I didn't have a 4-wheeler at the time. We had a John Deere Gator, a 6x6. A 6-wheeled John Deere Gator, it wasn't a 6x6, but we took the Gator back here, and I left the paramedic back here with Dad. And then I took the Gator back and got the tractor, and my cousin drove the Gator back up here with a couple other paramedics, and we took the trailer and they put him on a gurney, strapped him to the trailer, and we headed back to the house, and the ambulance took him to the hospital. But anyway, the stand hadn't been used since, and probably for good measure, good reason. He liked them high, I don't know why. At that time, he was doing a lot of deer hunting, and he liked a tall stand. I like about a 10-footer. So, but anyway, that's gonna wrap this video up. It may not be great content, but one of the reasons I decided to make this farming channel is because I'm out here every week doing something, and I can create a lot more content for a farming channel than I can on my old channel, my other channel, NC Stangs Videos, which is mostly about, I'm trying to make it more about cars and trucks and stuff. So anyway, that's gonna wrap this video up. I'm trying to build this channel, so if you want to subscribe to see how this farm goes, and follow me on my journey of becoming more involved in farming. Like I said, I've been doing some piddle farming for about 5 years out here. I've been living out here for about 5 years. Built a house out here and stuff. So I've been here all my life, but I lived about 10 miles away for a long time, and then finally the time come where I decided I was going to build a house and move out here. So and if you want to see that, you can go on my old channel, NC Stangs Video, and do a deep dive. And there's a video I think called The Old Home Place, where I go through my grandparents' old house, which was built around 1900. And before we tore it down, I built my house right on the same spot. You can check that out if you want to. But anyway, that's going to wrap this video up. I'll be doing more of this throughout the winter. Probably won't videotape a whole lot of it because I'm sure it's boring to watch. But anyway, if anybody's watching, please like, subscribe, and help me build this channel. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.